this night, I don't want, okay, I want you to have a restless night tonight. And I guarantee you that you will not sleep well tonight. Okay, I want to mess up with your mind a bit. Because many of the things that you've learned since primary school, they are not exactly very correct stuff. Okay, and even if they were correct, they are not relevant in today's world. Okay, if you check my back, it's just that I can't show you. If you check my back, there are, you know, cane. It's not very popular now, but when I was growing up, there was plenty cane. If you check my back, there are stroke marks. My mom was a teacher. She was a big time, no nonsense teacher. She whipped me silly for not knowing how to use four-figure table. Okay, do you guys know four-figure table? Is this still used today? I don't. In my days, it was a big deal, and I think from a very early age, I didn't see any need for sine, cosine, tangent. I did not just understand how that would make money for me. Okay, and she whipped me really. My mom is 72 today, and when I want to tease her, I just tell her, "So, mom, you four-figure table. You just beat me for nothing." Okay, so there's so much going on, and I don't even want to keep emphasizing on all of the things going on. Okay, the final thing that we're going to do today is we're going to have fun. Okay, I guarantee you that after today, if you find me at the airport, you pay for my ticket. I guarantee you that after today, if you see me in any restaurant, you buy me lunch. Okay, it still happens. I go back from Lagos Tuesday night after a week stay in Lagos. I bumped into several people that were buying me freebies. Okay, it won't be different. It won't be different. Okay, so, and I don't know why Philip has asked me to come talk to you. Okay, and I've done this for several people that have gone through similar programs with British Council. Okay, I think one of the reasons why people love my sessions the most is because I own a business just like many of you in this room. Okay, in this town. Okay, so we're buying diesel at the same cost. Okay, we have staff that their grandfather dies maybe like 4 times in a year. Okay, and with all due respect to the women too, we also have people that have those monthly issues. They have it like 3 times in a month. First week, second week. You know the kind of stuff I'm talking about in Abuja. Okay, so we have all those people that are not serious. Okay, so let's talk a bit. Let me set the stage right, and we're going to take a break at 11 just for about 15 minutes. But let me set the stage right, okay? And I think what you guys have decided to do is the right thing, and I'll tell you why, okay? In life, there are 2 things that matter the most. The first one is expectation, and the second one is reality, okay? And usually these 2 things are at 2 extreme ends. You don't need to write it down. I promise you that you'll remember. You'll remember. Don't write down. You remember. Okay. So, if expectation were to be equal to reality, Dr. Larry will not be in this room now. If expectation were to be equal to reality, you know where I'll be? I'll be in Hawaii on a beach. My private jet will be somewhere. My yacht will be on the high sea. I'll just lie down in shorts. I'll not be drinking 1 pina colada, I'll be drinking 2, one on the right-hand side, one on the left-hand side. And that is how I will just be chilling every day. But hey, expectation is not equal to reality. Okay, and because expectation is not equal to reality, I am in this room, okay, sharing with you in Abuja, Nigeria, West Africa, very, very far away from Hawaii, where I want to live my dreams. Okay, so, and I'm setting the stage because I want to understand your expectations from this session before we start the session. So let me give you an example. Imagine that Adeyinka, a Yoruba boy from Ijebu-Ode, has gone to marry a Kaite, okay, a beautiful lady from Akwa Ibom. Okay. I'm sure you know that Yinka has certain expectations for marrying a Kaite. Okay. One of the expectations will be that he'll be eating some afang, you know. That's why we marry people from this part of the country. We want to eat all of this stuff. And so they get married, and then 1 week after honeymoon, they get home. In the morning, the Kaite makes 2 slices of toast bread, 1 boiled egg, and butter. No problem. You can eat it. It's okay. In the afternoon, Ekaite makes white rice, stew, one beef. No problem. You eat it. In the evening, Ekaite makes fried plantain only with a cup of green tea. Let me eat it. The next day, Ekaite, 2 slices of yam, small stew, one beef. No problem, it's my wife. In the afternoon, Indomie, 1 egg. What do you think will start to happen after 2 weeks? Protest, what else? Pardon? Complaints, what else? Disappointment, good. What else? Pardon? Revolt. Okay, you people are too funky for me. Can we do some? Okay, so guys online, you guys are too funky. You guys online, can you use some Nigerian balance for me?
You will grow. You will grow.
I didn't get that. You will go. You guys have not. You guys are too fresh. You've not heard words like bege. You've not heard kasala, right? You've not heard words like yawa.
Someone don't like this. Husband don't
strike. One chance. You've not heard those kind of words. Let's be real. So that's what will happen. So before I even start to talk anything this morning, okay, and you really truly can say that I didn't prepare. I just started to put stuff together here. I want to ask you, okay, and I don't want yawa, I don't want kasala, I don't want bege. So I want to ask just 3 people what your expectations are of this session. Let me just see whether the things are put together in sync. And unlike to you guys can just, you guys just get to chill, no expectation. Talk to me. Go ahead, yes, it's you.
Guys online.
So my name is Ashley. My expectations would be basically to shed new light on old processes.
That is a lot of English. New light. What does that mean in English?
So there's something.
Just help me. Just help me. This is just a rational bubble.
Things I already know are meant to new ways to handle them.
Fantastic. Okay. So things you already know, she wants to know new ways to handle them. Okay. Let me tweak that a bit. Okay. And can I be as blunt and as real as possible?
Yes.
One of the things that I'm going to do to you is I'm going to mess up your mind. And I promise you, if I don't do anything else, I'm going to mess up your mind. Because everything that you knew before now is not necessarily true. And I say that in all honesty. Okay? Yeah. So I'll tweak it a bit and take it 1 notch higher. Yes. Networking as well. Great. What was the last
thing? Networking is different from opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes. So someone who's handling to
yes, let's take the online first.
Okay, so for me, my expectation is to learn more about entrepreneurship because I've been an entrepreneur for a while, failed a lot. So when I saw the ad on Twitter, the entrepreneurship opportunity to learn more about entrepreneurship caught my attention. That was why I applied. Then I thought again that it wouldn't be bad to have a British Council certificate on my resume. Thank you.
Did you say Sulu? S-U-L-U?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great guy. Thank you very much for admitting that you failed in entrepreneurship. These are the kind of people that I really truly want to meet. You don't find people that, what you hear is stories of how people succeed and nobody tells you that they failed. Okay, so I'd be delighted to have your number, Sulu, and then let's take this conversation a bit more. But I think spot on, we will talk about entrepreneurship, 100%. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. For me, I would say I've not been taking the business aspect of my business seriously. I've been passion. So I've realized that the business and the passion work hand in hand. They are not mutually exclusive, they are complementary. So when I saw it and I discovered that, okay, this can be a good start for me to actually understand the business aspect of the passion I have, because so sometimes I do stuff, I get paid and I'll be like, but the services I get that is more than this. So people be like, you need to forget about the passion for now because there's business to this thing. So that's basically my
Okay, and that's the third person, right? So let's just see. I think I'm home already because you already destroyed the link. Who remembers the time in this ecosystem, maybe like 18 months to 2 years ago, when it was all about passion to profit, passion to paycheck? You guys didn't hear that phrase? Trust me on this journey. Follow no road. I'm being truthful to you. Not everything you hear in the ecosystem is true. Passion to paycheck, passion to profit. I've been there, done that. Trust me, I've been there, done that. I've run businesses in this town for 16 years. Okay, some have failed, you've had to remove them. So you're meeting somebody that will tell you the truth. People even wrote books on passion to paycheck. I think I've come across a book like that. Follow who no road. Okay, so I won't say more than that. So yeah, so those are the kind of things that we're going to do today. We're going to destroy some of these myths that you've heard over time. Okay, so the first exercise that we want to do today is, and I wasn't a brilliant student of geography. I didn't like geography much in secondary school. Okay, but in my adult years, I'm beginning to understand some of the things that were taught. So when I was in secondary school and I was forced to do geography, I was told that the earth rotates, right? And I was told that it does something else, it revolves. You seem to have an understanding of this thing. Would you kindly come and help us demonstrate what it means to rotate? Please just help us. Yeah, I need to be sure that there are people that are here that were probably like me and didn't get it there. So just come and show us. Okay. So you are the earth. Hold on. This is earth. This is where we are. So rotate like they told us that the earth does. Okay. Don't explain, rotate. Right? That's what he's doing, right? Okay. So we're starting this. No, don't stop. So we're here right now and we're told that this is what the earth is doing. Right? Please take note of these things that I'm saying. Thank you very much. What's your name? Simeon. Okay. But we're also told that the earth does one more thing. Exactly. So do you know what revolution means? You know what revolution means. Don't rotate anymore. Just revolve. Let's see what it means. No, that's not rotation. Okay, so let me explain it to you. I understand geography now. Okay. So rotation is on its axis. Revolution is outside of your axis. So just revolve and let's see. Beautiful. That's what no, you are combining the two. Calm down. You can't. Just revolve first. Just go ahead. Just move. Yeah, exactly. Just keep it moving. Good. So what he's doing is revolving. Now hold on. Now you want to demonstrate the earth for us. Let me sit down. Now rotate and revolve. Brilliant. It's okay. I thought this would be a good place to clap for him. I want you to put your thinking caps on. Imagine, and I promise, just follow these seemingly silly stories. Okay, before 12 o'clock, I'll bring everything. Now imagine that you're living on a spot that is constantly rotating and revolving. Just think about it. What does that tell you? That's what? I like that. I should be moving, but it's much more than that, isn't it? Just he says, no, juju. Who else here? That
You are not growing.
When are you not growing?
When you are rotating or revolving.
No, the earth is rotating and revolving.
When you are revolving.
No, the earth is rotating and revolving, and you are on the earth. Yeah, what does that tell you? Okay, I'll come to that. You're very correct, but I'll come to that. Somebody online wants to share?
No, I think it's just a message. I'm going to employ the class. Please, can we close our laptops? Please.
Trust me, there's no need to put everything down. You will remember this. I promise you, you will remember this thing. Okay. So listen, friends. So listen, friends. Have you heard statements like how you day, I just day? How you day, I day can't be. Listen, you not just day. If you just day, it will mean that the earth is static and you can afford to be static, isn't it? Remember, if the earth is, and I'm not doing motivational talk, we're talking business already. We will find out very soon. If the earth is rotating and revolving, if you stand on a spot, are you standing still? What are you doing if you stand on a spot? No. The earth is, you are not. So you choose not to learn new things. You choose to just stay with all the four-figure table that you know. What has happened to you? Pardon? If you were stagnant, it would be nice. If you were stagnant, it's not so bad. But you're not stagnant. You know why you're not stagnant? Because the earth has left you behind. So for every day you think you're stagnant, for every day you think I just did, friends, you know just did. You've been left behind. You're retrogressive. Because the earth where we live doesn't stand still for 1 minute. These guys, they get it. Let me talk to the people here. they didn't get it. So we're living in a place that is constantly rotating, and it's not standing still for 1 minute. And you think the knowledge I had yesterday, let me just hold it and stay with it. The world where you live is constant. What has happened?
Well, the earth might catch up with you.
It won't catch up, it's left you behind.
But it will come back because rotating and
So you would actually wait for 1,000 years for the reality, friends, is if you stay without learning new stuff on a daily basis, you're not standing still, you're retrogressing. If you're standing still, it won't be so bad. But you're not standing still. Friends, remember, and I don't know about you, it took me 4 hours, and I'm sure Philip knows this too. It took me 4 hours to open my Yahoo mailbox. Oh, yes. This wasn't 100 years ago. This was exactly 21 years ago. 4 hours. MI, you know MI? MI, you know. Okay. MI was an internet cafe supervisor just then. He opened my Yahoo mailbox. It took us 4 hours, and we did it at night. We will click on the thing, it will be turning on, we'll go drink coke, chop off, come back, then next step, click on it. 4 hours. This is 21 years later, and in this room, while I'm speaking, in 2 minutes, you can set up your mailbox, isn't it? Where I'm going is that, friends, the excitement of yesterday is today's mediocrity. That's the first thing I want you to take out of my session, and there are only 3 things that I'm sharing with you. So I promise you that you remember. You don't need to write it down. Okay, you can write it down. You'll be nice to see it on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So the first thing that you're learning from me, and there are just 3, right, is that the excitement of
yesterday
is today's. Exactly. So the things that gave us so much joy yesterday is basic today. And you need to know how I was carrying shoulder when I opened my Yahoo. It was like they had given me a new nationality. Yahoo, Larry still lives at yahoo.com. So sweet I felt. Boy, you can't catch any babe now. Okay. So, and if you still don't believe me, let me give you a better example. Now, if 10 years ago, if you were coming from anywhere and you're coming to Abuja, and let's say Zaria or Kaduna or somewhere, just to spend the night because it was getting late, okay? And then you found a hotel with a big signage, 24 hours power supply, Wi-Fi available. 10 years ago, would you check into that hotel? 10 years ago, you would now. You would. 24 hours power supply, they are telling you that they have lights. The lights will not go. You will. There's a big signage in front of the hotel. Won't you? I will. 10 years ago, I will. Okay. But today, 2022, if I'm looking for a hotel and the big signage in front of the hotel, you know those hotels with big signages in front, billboard, 24-hour power supply, Wi-Fi available. I won't check it. Why? Pardon? If what you are celebrating in 2022 is 24-hour power supply, hotel, and then Wi-Fi available, if that's what you're celebrating in 2022, it's likely that there'll be cockroaches somewhere. No, not bugs, cockroaches, let's call it, or maybe a rat somewhere. It's very, very like it's going to be those kind of hotels. Because you can't be celebrating those kind of things. In 2022, before you lay the foundation of your hotel, you have bought generator already. It's not negotiable. Before you finish all your furnishing, you have put Wi-Fi, and it's nothing to celebrate. Okay, but 10 years ago, those were the things that were celebrated, isn't it? So I'll go back to the first statement I said. The excitement of yesterday is what? Exactly. If you have noticed, okay, and the money-making model, and I want to talk to you about making money first before we talk about pitching later. Okay, the money-making model is simple. I'm a student of economics, okay, and we're told profits is revenue minus costs equals to profit. Very basic elementary economics. Is there anybody at this stage who doesn't understand this? So by extension, what that means is if you want to make maximum profit, you would either increase your revenue, right? Or reduce your cost so that your profits will increase. Wow, I love this session. So if, and I'm not an accountant, I'm not an auditor, so I'm not going to talk to you about costs. I don't know what those guys are doing. If I make enough money, and I continually make enough money, okay, and my costs are just reasonable, my profit will go up, isn't it? Exactly. So let me dwell on revenue, where my core competency is. Okay, I've been involved in sales for the past 26 years. So we are not talking to somebody who read it. Let's leave the doctorate. I'm telling you about what I've been doing. Okay, so we're going to speak a bit about revenue today, and don't even call it revenue, let's call it money. We're going to speak a bit about money. The next thing that I want to tell you, that there's only one person that brings money. Only one person that brings money in your business. That's the customer. Only one person. One. Remember, we're not talking cost. Leave cost to your accountants. Leave cost to, they will take care of those ones for you. I don't know about, but let's talk about revenue. Okay, and revenue means money. And there's only one person that brings money to you. And that person is the customer. So today, what we're going to talk about is the customer, right? The guys online, are they still with us? Yeah. Okay, good. So what we're going to talk about, okay, good. So what we're going to talk about is the customer, but we're going to talk about the customer from a different perspective. Okay, and I know that you guys have heard phrases like customer is king, customer is God, customer is always right, customer. Once again, follow no road. Okay, it's not all those things that you've heard that are correct, or at least it's not all those things that you've heard that are correct for today's business. Let me shock you. You don't need every type of customer. You don't. It's not everybody that you are looking for within your business. It's not everybody that offers you business that you should take. There are customers that you have my permission to walk out of the premises. I speak the truth. It's difficult to understand, right? You don't like what I'm saying. I hope we have a little time. I'll give you the example. You have my permission, and I don't know which better way to make you trust me. Listen, this is my field. This is what I went to university for. This is what I have a PhD in. It's called consumer behavior, right? You have my permission to walk certain categories of customers out of your premises. Those customers are called toxic customers. They will destroy your business. Okay, I'm not talking about difficult customers. I'm talking about toxic customers. There's a difference between the two. It's getting very quiet. What's going on? I'm worried. Is it? You guys are bored already. You want me to leave?
No, sir.
Let's leave. I think we're jumping too fast. Let's the no sir was for me leaving or for the fact that we're jumping.
How much is your budget? How much I can give you are looking, what's your budget for the student, and about that, how much I charge.
But you didn't say that was part of the expectations now. We didn't measure that as part of the expectations. You will pay for extra lesson. Okay. So let's okay. So where did we stop? You need to help me because there's so much to talk about. Okay. So I said you have my permission to walk every toxic customer out of your premises, and I will explain the definition of toxic customer and difficult customer. Okay. I'm just setting the foundation. My sessions are usually very short, 15 minutes. I'll just take time to set foundation. The foundation is to be solved. Okay, talking about foundation. The environment where we operate, there's so much going on. You'd agree with me. I'm a student of economics, I told you before, and there's something we call ceteris paribus. Okay, that means all things being equal. The last 2 years have shown me that ceteris is no longer paribus. You know that thing they say, qui sera, sera. Qui sera is not sera. It is not what it is. And I'm being truthful to you. You know, so many things that are going on right now. Okay, who imagined that in 2022, one man will decide that he wants to take over another country and the whole world will say, hold on, guys, we can't get involved. The best we can do is to be throwing small arms and ammunition and passing it to them in 2022. Whoever imagined 2 years ago that one virus would just come and harass the whole world? The Queen of England couldn't leave her house. #1 citizen of the nation, Joe Biden, fear was catching him. Do you understand? So things are not the way they are. So if you live with the reality of the assumption, when we were in school, we were told, is there anybody who did economics or accounting or business admin? Nobody. Okay, just which one did you do? You must have heard about the 4 P's of marketing. The 4 P's are not working anymore, friends. The 4 P's have failed us. They are not working anymore. Because the reality of the customer today is that today's customer is a Malian. Okay, and I'll tell you my my friend Philip with an afro as well. So I'm not alone in this job. Okay, so that's the reality. The people we call the customers, and I will take a lot of time to drill down to this thing. Because when Philip and I started engaging that I should come here, I told him, I said, I don't even want to be talking anymore. There's too much talk going on in the ecosystem. If we put the volume of, as I speak right now, I'm sure Fela Groto is talking somewhere, Jimmy is talking somewhere, who else? Steve is talking somewhere, everybody is talking. Why are we not seeing the impact of all of this talk? So maybe all of us should just shut up for a bit and let's see if the talking is not working, maybe the silence will work. Okay, so one of the things that I want to take away, my expectation from this session today is that I would have spoken to, this is about 15 people that after today will do. Okay, it's not the excitement around Dr. Larry coming to talk to you. Let me see you next tomorrow and you say, Dr. Larry, some of those things you told me, I have started to do. Okay, and I think this is one session that I'll follow up on people. I think so. I think this is one session. So it's not in the clapping, it's in the doing. so I don't know why you guys are dragging me over. Where did we stop? There's too much to talk about. Too much to talk about. Okay. Let me quickly make another statement. Okay. And you can write this down again and tweet it and put it on Instagram. It will be very nice to see. Hold on, don't rush. Let me make another statement and then I'll take a 15-minute break and I'll come back. During that 15-minute break, my friend Philip will quickly help me run through something. Now listen, I'm sure you've heard phrases like, just be yourself. It doesn't matter what the world thinks about you. You've heard those kind of phrases. There are books like that. Those statements are statements from the pits of hell. Believe me. In business, perception is reality. Right? That's not the statement. Hold on. In business, perception is reality. In business, how people see you is more important than who you are. I'll repeat that again. Think about it. In business, how people see you is more important than who you are. Okay? So in business, people buy you before they buy your product. I hope this thing is sinking. I need this one to really sink. Let's take it one after a time. I'm going to have an exercise very soon that describes this. You know how people just tell you, just be yourself. Donald Trump became the president of America. He didn't care people's perception. Listen, this is business. It's a different ballgame. You will care how people think about you. Because how people think about you determines how they will treat you. Okay? I haven't met anybody in this room except you. But I already, just by talking to you and looking at you, I'm already forming perceptions of every individual in this room. If I see you tomorrow morning outside of this place, there's a way I will greet you based on how I see you. Pardon? And online. Okay, I'm okay. Exactly. Let me give you an example before we quickly do an exercise. So this is what I do. I have a lot of speaking engagements all year round. So I went to speak to staff of Federal Inland Revenue Service in Kano, okay? And Kano is not the kind of place you want to do plenty flexing. You just want to finish and stay in your hotel and just respect yourself and come back to Abuja the next day. And there are very lovely places in Kano. I'm not saying that. So hey, I finished my session. Fortunately, it was a Champions League night. So I got back to the hotel. I watched Champions League. I have an issue with strange beds. I don't sleep well. I struggle with sleep. So when it's on a strange bed, it's worse. Okay, all through my last week stay in Lagos, I was barely catching 3 hours sleep every day. It's just something that I've lived with. So if a bed is strange, if it is not my bed at home, I struggle to sleep. So it was one of those nights and I was struggling to sleep. So I got up. Fortunately, the hotel I was staying in Kano had a bar. And I went to the bar. And in that bar, there were 2 other gentlemen at the far end. So, hey, this was me in Kano. I mean, make new friends. I just got there. We shook hands. We mentioned each other's name and we started talking about football. You know, the match that had just ended. You know, and I remember vividly that I left that bar at 1:17 a.m. I remember because I had a flight to catch to Lagos early morning next day. Once again, friends, Kano is not the kind of place you want to miss your flight. The flight was for 8:30, so I planned to get to the airport by 7 o'clock. So my son studies aerospace engineering. I know a lot about flying, so I know that after the first 30 seconds, there's a 97% probability that your plane will not crash. Okay, I know things about flying. My son studies aerospace engineering, so I know. So the next morning, I got into the plane and I had wanted to become a pilot since I was a child. So the next morning, I got into the plane and there's just this thing that I've lived with all of my life. My godfather was a pilot, so he took me to the cockpit at a very early age. So every time I enter into the plane, I just look left to see the cockpit. Maybe it's the Nigerian or the Yoruba. Let me at least see the man driving this thing. So every time I enter a plane, I always look left. I just look into the cockpit. Remember, I told you that I left my two friends at the bar. We were not drinking water. Yeah, I'm just explaining. Don't think we were drinking water. And we're not drinking Coke either. I left them at 1:17. I don't know when they left. We just exchanged names and talked football. You know how men meet and just. I entered into that place. And I looked at the cockpit. The pilot and the co-pilot were the two people. They didn't live with me at 1:17. They remained there. Maybe they left that bar at 5 a.m. Maybe it was from that bar they went straight into the plane. Let me pause this story. While we quickly do something. If you need to help me. So what you're about to do is something called Dr. Phil's test. Okay, and they're just 10 questions. I just want you to answer them in 10 minutes. So Dr. Phil's test, just 10 questions. Help me answer them in 10 minutes. So number from 1 to 10 on Dr. Phil's test. Number from 1 to 10. Would you be able to? Dr. Phil's test.
Sorry, guys, Dr. Phil's test is coming. Are we on? Has it come back on? Is it back on? So, guys online, we're about to do your test. Dr. Phil's test is coming up on the screen in a little while. Sorry. That's on the MacBook. Yeah. Sorry, folks. How is that yet? Sorry, folks, it will be up pretty soon. We're just trying to tie What is this? Okay. This is because it's the MacBook, right? The compatibility of, so are we good? Is it launching? Dr. Phil's test, right? Yes. Yeah, passing open it here. We want to set this up now. And this will take forever. Sorry. Sorry, Dr. Phillips. It's using a Mac, and I think it's Windows. So, but we found an app that will play it. So, just setting it up very quickly so they can understand. Yeah, well, the issue is how we connect it to, and then it's like it's online. That's when technology can be pain as well. Are we there? Especially for our online audience. Maybe even easy to. Is it opening? Okay, so for the guys online, you just look at the screen. We're going to take this test, and you need to react to this test in 30 seconds max. So don't dwell too much on it. You just need to get the answers as they come for yourself. And please note them down. So let's start. First slide. And then you're gone 30 seconds later. So here we are. When do you feel at your best? It's A, B, C. Just choose an option. Right? 30 seconds. Next slide. This should be straightforward. So second slide, you usually walk, you have A, B, C, D, E. Fairly fast with long steps, fairly fast with little steps, less fast, head up, looking at the world in the face, less fast, head down, and very slowly. You should have picked. Next slide. When talking to people, so this describes you. When talking to people, you A, stand with your arms folded, B, have your hands clasped, C, have one or both your hands in your on your hip or in pockets, touch or push the person to whom you are talking, play with your ear, touch your chin, or smooth your hair. Next slide, please. I hope we're taking our answers down because we'll be discussing it. Sorry? If none applies to you, then it doesn't apply to you. But one answer, one describes you the most. One applies to you the most. When relaxing, you sit with your nails bent, with your leg neatly side by side, your legs crossed, your legs stretched out or straight, one leg curled under you. One answer, the one that applies to you the most. Next slide, sir. So you've gone back. You're going forward. When something really amuses you, how do you react? With a big appreciated laugh, a laugh but not a loud one, a quiet chuckle, a sheepish smile. Next slide. Aha. When you go to a party or social gathering, you A, make a loud entrance so everyone notices you. Make a quiet entrance looking around for someone you know. Make the quietest entrance trying to stay unnoticed. And please, in-house and online, don't use the excuse that you don't go for parties, so you don't have the answer. You have an answer. If parties do not work, oh yeah, tell us church, tell us the mosque, tell us where you go. Next slide, please. When you are working or concentrating very hard, this is question 7, and you are interrupted, what do? Welcome the break, feel extremely irritated, vary between these two extremes. Next slide, sir. We have a long way to go, so we need to pick it up. Which one of the following colors do you like most? Red or orange, black, yellow or light blue, green, dark purple, dark blue or purple, white, brown or gray? So for those people who said we didn't have one option, no, we have. So you have like 7 options, but the one that applies the most. Next slide. When you're in bed at night, in those last few moments before going to sleep, you lie, as in lying down, stretched out on your back, stretched out face down on your stomach, on your side slightly curled, with your head on one arm, or with your head under the covers. Next slide. Okay, hold on, sorry. You want to look at the options again? Okay. But you can't take all the time in the world. Take the one that describes you the most. So just think about it. These are things that you do subconsciously oftentimes. So just think about it. What is it that applies to you the most? Think about it. Next slide, please. You have 18 more to go. No. Aha. You often dream that you are, this is question 10. You often dream that you are falling, fighting, or struggling. The people eat in dreams. Searching for something or someone, flying or floating, or you usually have dreamless sleep, and your dreams are always pleasant. How I wish. That'd be great. Sorry? You don't have an option. You have to take only one option. The option that appeals to you the most. That's the one that happens the most. Okay. More than others, yeah. Next slide, please. No. Okay, let's pause. Great. By popular demand, let's just run it from the beginning. Oh yeah, let's go. When do you feel at your best? In the morning, during the afternoon, or early evening, late at night? Can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. Yeah, so we're going fast now. Next slide. You usually work with fairly fast, long steps, fairly fast, little steps, less fast, head up, looking the world in the face, less fast, head down, or very slowly. Next slide, sir. Slide 3. When you're talking to people, you stand with your arms folded, your hands clasped, one or both hands on your hip or in pockets, touch or push the person to whom you're talking, play with your ear, touch your chin or smooth your hair. Next slide. And it's interesting how we kind of all do these things and you don't even know this. You actually do. When sitting, what do? Leg bent, neatly side by side, trim proper, your legs crossed, stretched out, one leg curled. Next slide. This is like on steroid now, so let's go. You have quite a ways to go, so. Yeah, they are reading it as well. I guess the guys online are looking at it as well, so. Next slide, please. If you go to an Owambe or a groove, what do? You dance, you make a lot of noise, you enter quietly and sneak in, you know, just go and hide in one corner. You're not like the man who went to the bar and then it's like he saw the pilots and he didn't know they were the pilots. But thankfully, yeah, so obviously. Next slide, please. When you're working or concentrating very hard and you're into, very important, what happens? Are you one of those people that gets really crazy or no problem? Next slide, please. Which of the following? We need to go fast, because we're only rehashing now. So fast. Colors. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. That's all. Great. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me quickly finish that story and then we'll come back to this. So, and I was just saying all that to emphasize the fact that how people see you, okay, in business is more important than who you are. That's the reality. People see you, people talk to you, people treat you how they see you, okay? I remember when I got to this town, okay, young man from Lagos, then Jos, and then into Abuja, and then my first meeting at the Hilton. And you know, in Lagos, there's how we drink beer. You know, I don't know if it's the same way in Abuja. So in Lagos, where you want to drink beer, you first put a little in your cup, you shake it a little. So I've been invited to the Hilton, and then I put a little, and then This was piano loud. There was nowhere to pause. So I ended up. But that's not the gist. That's not the gist. The gist is it is perception that makes Yaoyo increase the price of a bottle of Coke from 80 naira to 100 naira. You know Yaoyo. So you people are too funky. Yeah. Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh, whoa. Yaoyo increases. You guys need to know Yaoyo. When Yaoyo increased Coke from 80 naira to 100 naira, there was a lot of pushback. This woman is chopping too much money now. She's now increasing Coke anyhow. What's that? 20 naira increase. Those same people will go to the Hilton. A glass of Coke at the Hilton is 660 naira. Remember what I said? I didn't say a bottle of Coke, a glass. And that glass is not exactly a glass of Coke because half the glass is ice. So what you're drinking is like a third of a bottle of Coke for 660 naira. You will cross your legs. You will speak English and you will drink. You won't harass anybody. It's perception. It's perception. Okay. That's why a lot more business are concerned about the facade. Okay, because in business, perception is reality. Okay, and how people think about you determine how they will treat you. Now, this test that you just did, right, is a personality test, but it's a different kind of personality test. Okay, you know, personality test normally will tell you who you are. That's what personality test tells you. This one doesn't care about who you are. Why? Because we have discovered that in business, how people see you is more important than who you are, right? So this personality test tells you how people see you. It's getting very quiet. I'm worried. Philip, we didn't plan that this thing would be like this. So I thought, because Philip said you guys are very vibrant, and I'm surprised that it's, why is it quiet? Does somebody want to tell me? Okay, so it's working. Yeah, I'm messing up your mind already. We're not even there yet. Let's calm down. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. So how people see you, friend, and this is researched. Okay, how people see you is more important than who you are. Let me go enough. The reality is you don't even know who you are. No, don't agree with me yet. Don't agree with me yet. Was it Aristotle that said, "Man, know thyself"? Was it Aristotle? One of those people One of those people said it. And that's because that guy understands that you can't even know you. And I say it with all respect. You don't know you. If I ask who are you, what would you tell me? Pardon? Your name. Okay, can I ask direct question? Will you just pardon me? Can you kill? This is a dangerous man. If he's thinking he's a dangerous man. Can you kill? Okay, he doesn't kill himself. Okay. So if you ask me right now, Dr. Larry, can you kill? I'll be like, me kill. Come on. Christian upbringing, good Yoruba boy, have a family, living like kill. Why would that? I can't kill. Lie. But change the dynamics. And say, Dr. Larry, God forbid, somebody rapes your beautiful daughter. You kill that guy. You kill that guy. Me. I will kill him, kill his wife, kill his mother. You don't understand? So you really don't know yourself until you are pushed with some level of pressure. So don't let's dwell on knowing yourself. You don't even know yourself. It's a lie. When do you tell you, I know myself, I know what I can do and what I can do? Don't you like this to them? You don't even know yourself, okay? Because it depends on the kind of pressure that comes to you, okay? And even at that point, you don't even know if that is you. So let's deal with the one we can affect, and that is people's perception of you. Because people's perception of you determines how they will treat you. And in business, that's what's important. So what this test tells you is not who you are. Okay, so as I'm going to be sharing the result of the test with you very shortly, if the test says you are fresh, uncle, you are not fresh. We just think that you are fresh. If the test says you're cool, you're not cool. And I'm not saying you, I'm just looking at your direction. We just think you're cool. Okay, Dr. Larry, what's the correlation between this and my business? Now listen, If this test says you're fresh, you're cool, you're lively, you are the center of attention, you are hyper, you are gregarious, you are the exceedingly outgoing type, and you are a brain surgeon. Meanwhile, you're probably the best brain surgeon in Nigeria. But people see you as outgoing, as gregarious, as, do you see the difference? Do you see the disconnect? Okay, so people treat you how they see you. There's how we want to see an auditor. When I was in banking in Jos, an auditor resumed, and then he was trying to form new breed auditor. He had jerry curls, he had a brown suit, correct, you know, those shiny fabrics, well tailored and everything. And he had one nice briefcase, and he had a swag to him. So he resumed work on a Monday morning. Like, this one auditor. This is not how auditors look. Auditors, they don't wear suit, they wear coats. The color, the black of the coat is different from the faded black of the trouser. Their trousers don't touch ground. You know, their ties stop here. The color of their shirt is usually big, so you see that. And there's a way they walk. You just know these guys are auditor. Okay, so perception is reality. Immediately we saw this guy with Jericho. This one cannot be auditor. He lost his job just based on our perception of him. Okay, so perception is reality in business, friends. So we're going to go a step further. I are just going to take down your scores for me. So we're going to attach scores to each of those alphabets. Okay, and then you can go very quickly. Question 1. Just the next slide. Yeah. So if you had an A, put a 2 there.
Let's be real, don't write 6.
When I was growing up, this kind of time, you change, you exchange. But trust me on this one, it's not the. Yes. Trust me on this one, it's not highest or lowest. Trust me. You will find out. So let's go question 2. The guys online, are you with us? Okay. So that's 1, right? You can go 2, 3. This should be faster. Question 2. Okay. Good. Okay, so yes, great. Question 3? Yes.
I think you need to have Tommy online.
What's Tommy saying?
Because Tommy is going to do for the test online and she's trying to score her.
Go ahead. Question 4? Question 3, yeah. This should be faster. You've got very little time again. Five. 6. Very good. Very quickly. 7. 8. 7.
8.
9. And 10. Okay, so number 10. Okay. So quickly sum up your scores. If you need 4-figure table, let me know. If you need scientific calculator, let me know. Just quickly sum up. Okay. So this is where the juju works. Okay. I'm not going to come to you to look at your scores, but I can tell you what your scores will be, or at least I can tell you the category that you fall into. And I can do that for almost every individual in this room. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Okay, the reason is this test does not talk about who you are. This test talks about how I see you. Okay, and except you have been pretending since we got to this session, I should be able to tell you how I see you. How I see you might not necessarily be who you are. Okay, and I'll tell you. Okay. So are we done?
Yes.
Okay. So this is this was a Nollywood movie. This is the part where Peter Doche will come in because we want to show you the scores now. Okay. So let me say something. Okay. In all of these categories, okay, let's go to the next slide. The next slide. Okay. So I can tell you for free. That the bulk of, well, I can't see the people online, so I can't speak for the people online. But the bulk of people that I have interacted with in this room, we would not have a vain, self-centered leader. Now listen, I am not saying there is no vain person in this room. That's not what I'm saying. I am not saying there's no self-centered leader in this room. However, my perception of the people I've interacted with this morning does not have anybody looking this way. Let's put it to test. Is there anybody who has a 61 and above?
Yeah.
Who? Nobody. No, not yet. Not yet. So nobody has a 61 and above.
Let me see online.
No, I don't know about online. I didn't interact with them. I didn't interact with them. I thought it would be a good place to clap. I thought. Yeah. I'm not sure that it is what we. In fact, let's just go to the cocoa. I can tell you for free that at least, how many people do we have? 6 here, 6 there. 12 people. I can tell you that 10 out of the 12 people in this room would fall between lively center of attention and loyal friend. At least 10 of the people that we find in this room. At least 10, because that is my perception of you. So let's put this to test. How many people fall between 31 and 40? You can raise up your hands properly. Let my juju work. Let it work. No, calculate it. Calculate it. We'll wait for you. We'll wait for you. How many people fall between 31 and 41 today? That's 1, 2, just 2 people. How many people fall between 41 and 50?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. So we've got, she's still calculating. Are you done? Are you done calculating? What group do you fall in?
Okay.
None of these two. None of these two, that's fine. What about you? None of these two as well. Who are the people that don't fall into these two categories? How many people? 1, 2, 3. Okay. What category do you fall into? Natural leader. Okay. And then natural leader and natural leader. So my juju worked -1, right? I thought it would be a good place to clap for them. And 50. How many people?
1 person.
Only 1 person. Let them just put down their scores. Where do we have the other people? I didn't interact with them, so I can't predict. So anyway, where we're going to is this. Now listen, so what I'm going to do is just show you these 3 categories very quickly. Next slide. Next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. Next slide. Okay. So that's the what's that category after the baby self? That's the natural leader, right? Okay. So this is how people see you, the 3 of you there. People see you as exciting, volatile, impulsive, the natural leader, one who's quick to make decisions, though not always the right ones. Okay? People see you as bold and adventuresome, one who will try anything once, someone who takes chances and enjoys an adventure. They also like being in your company because of the excitement you radiate. Don't smile. This is not who you are. This is how we see you, right? So my question to you, the relevance of this, what do you do? What do you do now? Yes, professionally. You're a lawyer. So the relevance of this is look at how people see you and match it with what you do, right? The second relevance is this how you want people to see you? Is this how you want people to see you? Is this the personality? Yes. This is how you want people to see you. Is this how you want people to see you? Is this how you want people to see you? Is it? Okay, but is this who you are? So this is who you are. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. I'll put this up together. Next slide. Okay, this is where we have a lot of people. Okay, who are the guys here? You're not fresh. I'm just reminding you. You're not lively, you're not charming, you're not amusing. We just think so. Is it a cool thing to think that you're fresh? I thought somebody would be excited. Okay. By the way, if it gives you any joy, this is the category that I belong to. Okay. I was going to say that myself. And I'm sure that Philip, that I haven't seen for a while, will be shocked that this is the category that I belong. Now listen. I speak the truth. This is not who I am. This is so far from who I am. If you see me on the street, if you see me tomorrow, this is how I will shake you. I can't look at you in the eye. I'm an exceedingly shy person, right? But because this is work, this is what I do. Because I do a lot of speaking. If you notice when I came in, who attended to me, she can tell you how shy I was. I could barely look into her eyes. I just carried my bag, was still looking down up until the time I came to sit down there, if you notice. But immediately it was showtime. Need to enter into. Because this is the kind of person you want to listen to. Did you get me? Exactly. This is the image I want to portray. This is how I want you to see me. Is it pretense? Maybe not, but this is the attribute I want to exude. Okay, did you get that? So does this match with the role that I play? Absolutely. Everybody wants to listen to a fresh person. Everybody wants to listen to a lively person. Okay, otherwise it's difficult to capture your attention for 2 hours. Many of you would have been dozing by now. So this is not who you are. This is how people see you. Is it nice for people to see you like this? I think so. Next slide, and I think that's the last set of people that we have. Okay, so we have a couple of people here. We have 3 people here, right? Let's see you now. Who are the loyal friends? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now I can't even say the next statement. And I'm sure you know what I wanted to say. People, you are not. No, I won't say that. But anyway, I will say it. But this is how we see you. This is not who you are. But just saying this is how we see you. Possibly this is the one who you are, possibly, but that's not where we are going to. But this is how we see you. So my question, what's your name? Rosemary, what do you do? Fashion designer. Do we want to see a fashion designer as sensible? I think so. A lot of them are not. Yeah, because you want to do something for your wedding next weekend, and it will be ready on Thursday and Saturday morning. All that time is still not ready. So, okay. People want to see. I'd love my fashion designer to be cautious. Take note of all those threads and all those things and train them up. Careful, practical, clever, gifted, absolutely. Talented but modest. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Who's extremely loyal to friends? Blah blah. So if this description fits who you want to be, fine. You don't need to do anything. Question: what do you do if the slide before this? What do you do if you are an auditor or a surgeon or an aerospace engineer, and this is how people see you? Because this is not how you want people to see you if you are a surgeon. Is this how you want people to see you if you are a surgeon? So what do you do? Pardon? Okay, so that's a difficult thing to do. So the first thing is you want to know how people see you, right? Okay, so rather than switch, you adjust, isn't it? Okay, so how do you adjust? By speaking the things that you want them to believe of you, right? So even if you are wearing Jericho, you start to talk like an intellectual. You know, people should not think because of my Jericho, I don't know anything. You know, you start to say those things so that their thought process of you starts to change. Okay, just hold this assignment to be done. Okay, I'm hoping that. Can I take 15 more minutes?
Yes.
So we'll finish at 12:15. Let's try. Because there's still so much. And thank you so much for being with me. You see why you guys are why I think you are fresh. Okay. Okay. So I'll tell you what Dr. Phil's test does very, very quickly. And I think this is the time for us to delve a bit more. So I started off by telling you that making money in business is revenue minus cost equals profit, right? And I said we'll dwell on the revenue, right? And I said the person that brings us the revenue is who? Please help me. So who said about the 3 Ks before? 3 Ks, anybody?
4 Ps.
No, calm down. We are going. Please, old school. What I said of the 3 Ks? Okay. So the way to make money is knowledge, and I'm glad that nobody in this room has said about the 3 Ks. Okay, because there's no 3 Ks published. The 3 Ks are my 3 Ks. So if you had said you had heard about 3 Ks, I would have been worried. It's not been published yet. Okay. So the 3 Ks talk about knowledge areas because I think, okay, what makes most entrepreneurs not do well is knowledge. Okay. So when I was pulling my hair and I was saying follow who knows, that's what I was talking about. Okay. It's not everything that is put out there that you message. Okay. If the man that is telling you, you know, that you have to do this and do this and do this, ask the man first, okay, do you have a business? If somebody doesn't buy diesel at 625, he won't understand what you're going to buy diesel at 625. If he doesn't have a diesel engine, he won't understand. So when you say diesel is 625, he doesn't know. If somebody doesn't have staff, you know, running his business, he won't understand when you say Abuja staff are from here. You know, there's no relation. So if you want to listen to people and you're in business, ask them, okay, which business are you doing? And honestly, if they're not doing any business, you have my permission to work with them because they won't give you any value. They will just go and read textbooks and come and download it to you. And we found out since 2020 that all those things in the textbook, at least they are not working for this client. Right now, we don't know what is running this country. According to textbook, right now, there's no country like Nigeria because if you check all of the indices, if you check what we have as external debt, we can't pay it in another 100 years. That means your children's children cannot pay Nigeria's current external debt. We are borrowing money. Don't let it don't let it go there. But I'm just saying that all of those theories and principles, they failed around here. They failed. Okay. So I was talking about the 3 Ks, and there's just so much coming into my mind right now. So let's do the 3 Ks and let's do pitching, and then let me go, and then we'll be friends, and then I can share the other thing offline with you. So the 3 Ks, the first K, and like I shared with you, the reason why people are not making money from business is the knowledge factor. K represents knowledge, right? So first K is knowledge of your environment, and I want to write this down. Okay. And as entrepreneurs, we've got to be very, very observant, right? Do you know there's a way Abuja behaves between the 24th of a month till the 5th of the next month? You guys know. How does Abuja behave? Now, right? Dollar. Restaurants, that's when people take their girlfriends out the most. That's when clubs are full. That's why. Why? Talk to me. Because salary period. At least that's the one that I know. That's the one that my restaurant sells more. So even if it's not sold from the beginning of the month, I tell my staff, just calm down. Once they pay salary now, you just start everybody ordering online, everybody coming around, fine girl, fine boy everywhere. Okay, so it behoves on us as entrepreneurs to study these things, little things. Okay, like when does money come in your immediate locality? Okay, if you're an entrepreneur in this room and you don't understand the fact that we are in a pre-election year, you're a learner. So next year is election, but I speak the truth. The actual election is this year. This is the year that they will spend money. If you are in this room and you have not started thinking towards what you can do to be a part of that money spend, you're a learner. Okay, and the money that government will spend this year is not on infrastructure, friend. Nobody is building any new building this year. Nobody is building any railroads this year, right? It is current expenditure. Government will be spending money buying laptops for people. They will be I read that Tinubu is paying for jam form for people. That's the kind of money we will be seeing. Okay, and you guys are in the creative industry, for God's sake. That is where the bulk of the money will go to. I'm sure you know. Why is it quiet?
Yes, yeah.
That's where the bulk of money will go. We know this is Nigeria, this is African politics. The bulk of money will go into your industry. So prepare, position, get ready. The first thing, like I said, is the knowledge, knowing. What was our guy's name? Putin. Okay. And I'm just showing you different knowledge areas about your environment. Putin is bombing Ukraine. It has impact on the Baba Ibusetu market. You guys don't know. Why is it so quiet? Tell me, does it have impact or not? It has impact. It has impact. Right now, prices of petroleum products all over the world has gone up. Why? Because Russia is more involved. Russia is one of the biggest producers of oil. They are more involved in other things right now. Okay, people are even putting sanctions on Russia on a daily basis. It has impact on our business. So the first skill, like I said, is knowledge of the environment. Start from your street. There's a way your street behaves. If you've not been observant, check. There's a way your street behaves. There's a way Abuja behaves. I just showed it to you now. There's a way Nigeria behaves. Nigeria has a document called the National Economic Recovery Growth Plan. I am not telling you to go and read it page to page. It's boring. You sleep off. But just flip through. Government is the largest spender in this part of the world. Government is the largest spender. In America, it's capitalists, it's those individuals. But here is government as the largest spender. If government is the largest spender, you need to understand how government wants to spend. If government says we are spending, and this is just hypothetical, if government says we are spending 50% of our budget on agriculture, and you are a fashion designer, what do? You possibly buy land. What else? God bless you. God bless you. If you are a fashion designer and government says 50% of our budget for 2022 is on agriculture, Uncle, go and learn how to sew farm ropes. Yes. Okay, so that's what knowledge of the environment does for me. Okay, when Donald Trump was president of the US, for every time Donald Trump said, make America great again, it had implications for Nigeria. It had implications for our businesses. But we didn't realize it. Okay, so I'll leave it at that because time is past page. 1, knowledge of the environment. 2, knowledge of the customer. Friends, there's a difference between the customer and the consumer. Who wants to help me? Who's the customer and who's the consumer? It's okay to get it wrong. It's okay to get it wrong. Go ahead. What's your name? I didn't ask you. Senior. Definitely come back for you. That sounds like Terminator. Okay. So Simeon says, I didn't say so. Simeon says a customer is somebody that will come back over and over again. What of a consumer? Okay, a consumer is one of a customer comes. Okay, I'll come to you. That's what you wanted to say. I like this guy.
A customer person that buys from you,
Mhm.
you don't necessarily be the consumer.
So what's the consumer?
If you, example, if you sell baby clothing, I'm your customer because I'm not buying. I'm not the consumer. I'm buying for my children that want to wear it. So
What's your
I'm
name?
your customer. Rosemary.
Say it with passion.
Rosemary.
No, say what you just said. With passion.
Oh, okay. I made an example. I are selling baby clothing. I mean, patronize you as a customer, but I'm not the one consuming it. My children are that.
So she's got it right. And I thought it would be a good place to clap. Let's keep it. The customer customs, the consumer consumes. That's it. So a customer is the one paying, the consumer is the one using. And she gave a perfect example, right? If you want to buy baby clothes, it's the parents that pay, right? Okay, it's the children that use. Okay, do you remember Indomie noodles when they started?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a rule of thumb, right? In the short run, focus on the customer. In the long run, focus on the consumer. Why? And you need to be streetwise here. Yes. Why do you focus on the customer in the short run? Why do you focus on the customer in the short run?
Because you need the customer's preference.
Say it's like, are you?
Because you need
Who is people here?
money.
Because you need the customer's money. Okay, that's it. So you focus on the customer in the short run because you need the customer's money. You need it. You need the money. Okay, but in the long run, you focus on the consumer. Why?
Because it's not a great demand.
Absolutely. Okay, because it's the consumers that create the demand. Yeah, you said it already. Okay, and you can learn from the Indomie story. Okay, so the first set of adverts that Indomie did, it was targeted at parents. Okay, it was targeted at the elder people, if you remember. Okay, but as years went by, they started to target the actual owners, or rather the actual consumers. Okay, so you have to understand, Dr. Larry, is it possible that the consumer is also the customer? Yes, there are cases like that. Okay, but you've got to understand that there's a difference between the customer and the consumer. Now, listen, who knows? I won't use it here again because you guys are too fresh. Let me look for who knows Jevnik. Okay, you guys know Jevnik at least. Okay, thankfully. So, and you know Jevnik, if you go to a restaurant at Jevnik level, okay, if you notice, they have several refrigerators. Have you noticed? Yeah. There's one for Swan Water, there's one for Aquadana, there's one for Nestle. No, let's even say water. What I know. Aquadana, Swan Water, Eva, Elim, Faro. Faro is the one I've been trying to remember. Faro. Yeah. I know something there. I need to put my own water brand there too. So anyway, there are several refrigerators, and every time that you go to it, and I need you to be more attentive, as entrepreneurs. Every time you go to it in Jevnik, and you tell them, give me pounded yam, give me egusi, give me 3 big pieces of goat meat. That's me ordering food now. 3. And give me a bottle of water. If you notice, if you're observant, every time those waiters will go to one particular refrigerator. Remember, you said, give me a bottle of water. You've not said, give me. Every time they go to one particular refrigerator and they bring water for you. As a matter of fact, when it starts to get to afternoon, you will see that because of the frequency of time that they've opened that particular fridge, the water in that fridge is not as cold. And the water level is probably even going down. What do you think is happening? Talk to me. Pardon? God bless you. Why are you always working? Who else thinks? What else?
I don't think there might be low demand for that.
But when you go to eat, if you check, most times when you go to eat, you don't say, give me a bottle of water. You just say, give me a bottle of water. No, let her talk, please let her talk.
You don't specify it.
Mm-hmm.
We always give you the one that's more costly.
Yes.
The customer want to be the one also giving the incentive.
That's it. So I'm assuming that what you meant by costlier is the one that has the largest profit margin.
Yeah.
So listen, if Swan Water, if on a bottle of Swan Water they were making 20 naira per bottle, and Eva, Faro, Aquadana, all those other ones, they are making 10 naira per bottle. Every morning when Madam comes and they're having staff meetings, how do you think the conversation will be? You think I say about water. You don't think it will be, if you don't say that about water, I will kill you. You don't think it will be like that because that's where she's making more money. Remember, she is serving as a channel to get to the consumer. She is not the consumer. She's a customer to Everwater. So what matters to her is her margin. Okay, and I want you to take note of these things as you go out to eat. Okay. So, and I hope that explains the difference between the customer and the consumer. And I hope you won't model it up. Okay. And there are also ways to treat the customer. There are also ways to treat the consumer. Okay, by extension. The final one, the final cake. So we've got two cakes now: knowledge of the environment, knowledge of the, and the final one, the one that looks very, very cliche, is knowledge of the business. Friends, not all restaurants sell food. I speak the truth. Not all restaurants sell food. I've run a restaurant in this town for 13 years. And we've moved from cafe to fine dining to almost beer parlor, back to cafe. And now I don't even know what it is that we are doing right now. We're just selling food, yeah. So listen, because of what I do, I am very, very conscious of the businesses that I run. So if my businesses don't do it, it gives me concern. Not because I'm losing money or not maximizing, but because if I come and I'm speaking English like this, people will be doing you know what's new? They look at him speaking English. If business is not doing well, they look at him speaking English. So there was a time several years ago, about 10 years ago, okay, when my restaurant wasn't doing well. I mean, it was a beautiful restaurant. But on Sundays, my friends will post pictures on Instagram and on, it was Facebook. They will post pictures on Facebook, eating with somebody that came from Lagos. It won't be my restaurant. It will be another restaurant that will do it. I know it's painful when you see that kind of thing. You feel like your friends hate you, okay? And then it hurts me very bad. It hurts me more because, okay, so like I'm a faculty of at several business schools, even including Lagos Business School. So you can imagine that I'm at LBS and when I'm in Lagos, it's different. I'm fresher than this, I'm just vibing and somebody is going to look at this restaurant is not doing it, come here, come and speaking. So that was my own pain. It wasn't even the money that was not maximized. So I'm usually, when things bother me like that, I just go on a personal retreat. So I took 3 days off and I went to go and sit down, out of town, and I just sat down by myself. I started questioning. And I'll teach you guys the 5 whys. Please remind me in case I forget the 5 whys. Just remind me. So I started asking myself those questions: the whys, the whys, the whys, the whys. Okay. And I suddenly realized that this restaurant where most of them were going to, I don't want to use names now, their food wasn't as sweet as mine. This restaurant where most of them were going to was more expensive than my restaurant. In fact, in some cases, 4 times the cost or the price that I was putting. So why? And then it started to occur to me that for fine dining, people don't go for fine dining because they are hungry. Did you hear me? Yes. People don't go for fine dining because they are hungry. People go for fine dining because they want to feel good. It's an experience. It's not food they are eating. Listen, and I'm glad that there are many ladies in this class, but you guys are guilty. Before most ladies in this room right now, when you either go for fine dining with your girls or a guy takes you for fine dining, did you know that you snap the picture of the food before you eat the food? I see guilty faces. Now listen. So listen, because we need to understand the impact of our action. What that singular thing means, what it translates to, is that the look of food is more important than the taste of food. Thank you. This man gets it. The look of food is more important than the taste of food. So if I own a fine dining restaurant, where should I be concentrating? Is it not the look? That's what people come there for. It's the ambience, it's the arrangement, it's the aesthetics, not the taste of the food. In my restaurant at that time, because I thought the taste was the most important thing, my chef, I poached him from Sheraton. Small restaurant, poached chef from Sheraton. I was paying him 250,000 naira a month because my food was badass. It was. That one I can't even do. But people were still not coming. So until I started to imagine things like people snap picture before eating, it has a meaning. Until I started to realize that the look is more important than the taste. Okay, no problem. So I came back from my trip and I said, okay, a couple of things. I called my friend, architect Philip Sefe. I said, you will help me rearrange the entire of this place. The first thing that I want is when people enter this place, let them be cheap. Put 3 more ACs. We have 3 ACs. I said, put 3 more. It was like, hey, put 3 more ACs. Okay. Then some rather unfortunate things happened. I had to talk to my waiters and say, sorry, you guys don't look the part anymore. It's painful, but these are some of the business decisions you have to take. Sorry, you guys don't look the part anymore. My waiters were somehow. So we had to lay them off. Took in fine girls. They were wearing correct. I'm a realist. I won't come here and lie to you. Remember, people are coming to buy a set. Do you want me to should we do textbook? No, if you want us to do textbook, we'll do textbook. I promised Philip I wasn't going to come here and lie to you. So this was the reality. We changed the waiters. They were smart, fine girls. Remember those ACs? There were 6 ACs in a room about this size. What else did we do? We stopped using paper invoice. We bought tabs. When you order food. What else did we do? Yeah, we had the flat screen TV before. What else did we do? Just generally created an air of it. Oh, the chef. The chef was no longer a part of the equation. People were not coming for the taste of the food. We laid off the chef. Yeah. Unfortunately, we laid him off because paying him 250 didn't make sense anymore. Down the road, Immaculate Hotel, I grabbed a cook, paid him 50K, just 50K, 20% of what we were paying that chef. It was okay. The food wasn't as sweet as the chef. The chef would be doing. That's not what we are here for. The food wasn't as sweet as the chef. What else did we do? Who paid for all of this? What did you say? Of course, the architect made that up. Yeah. What else did we do? Who paid for all of these things? Pardon? Yes, now. So after doing all these things, what of our price? We moved the average price from 2005. We jacked it up to 7,005. Yes, that's a wow. They came. They wowed and they came. Because when you entered the restaurant, I used to love to go there that time. So I'll just go there and sit down somewhere across my leg. I'll hear somebody say, all those chicks. They say, how much reduce this AC? And I'd want my staff, reduce AC and let them be shaking. Let them go to town and say there's one restaurant that you will be shivering like that. And that's how we left it. The ACs were on. Me, I will have worn my thermal wear. Just cover. You shouldn't like it, no, but that's the reality. So we changed the end. Oh my God. People have a way of just, no, there's problem. Because we need to talk pitching. So anyway, So, all of the ambience changed, and all of a sudden, started to see increase without doing anything. Remember what I said, the taste of the food got worse, but the entire ambience, including the plating, got better, and somehow sales started to go up. Why? Because a restaurant, a high-fly, fine dining restaurant in Wusetu in Abuja is not meant to sell food. It's meant to sell ambience. If you focus on the food, you will get it wrong. You know the people that are meant to sell food? Iyaoyo, thank you. Iyaoyo will even put it. Have you seen that banner in front of our place? We don't receive transfer, we don't receive POS in 2022. What is Duma telling you? You can bring your cash or go away. If you are a fine boy, it's not you I'm looking for. That's what she's saying clearly. Exactly. Do you understand me? So you have to know your business. It sounds very, 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 very easy, but it's the most difficult skill. I'll give you one more example as we start to wind down. Okay. So when the family relocated to town and I wanted to go for school for my kids, this is how the discussion between myself and the principal of their school then went. Remember, not all schools sell education. I promise you. So in Wusetu, we went to the school, and then this is how the conversation. Our principal, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Principal, my 2 kids want to come to your school. Is your school fine? I said the school is fine. Principal, do you use blackboards or do you use digital boards? He started using digital boards 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, all right. Principal, can I see the playground? He takes me to the playground. Nice, lush ground. Principal, where is the school bus? Takes me to the school bus. AC is working, driver is wearing tie. Principal, what of a school clinic? Takes me there, fine nurse, first aid box. Okay. Principal, can I peep into the class? So he takes me to an ongoing class. We just peep in through the back door. I peep into the class. I see 2 Oyibo people. This is the school I treated at home. Did you notice that all of the questions I asked, none had to do with education? None had to do with education. I just saw 2 Oyibo people, and that was just it. My children will come to this school because there are Oyibo people going there. Do you understand? So if you were a school owner, would you be looking for first-class graduates as your teachers, or would you be stretching to ensure that the ambience of your school looks good? At least in Wusetu and Mejama. Listen, if you run a laundry, does anybody run a laundry here? Nobody good. If you run a laundry business, the day you start to go and pick clothes from your customer's house, go to wash it and return it back to your customer, you are no longer running a laundry. Look at me. You are no longer running a laundry. What does a laundry do? Wash, come out fresh, get all everything, right? The day you start to pick clothes, go to wash it and bring it back, you have stopped running a laundry. You have started running a logistics company. You know why? The model to, and I'm saying this with all seriousness, the model to run a laundry is different from the model to run a logistics company. The customers of a laundry, they are way, way different from the customers of a logistics company. And I don't mind that you are quiet now because I want this to sink in. The customers of a laundry want their clothes to have Gator. You know what's Gator? Still here. That's Gator. They want it to just come. The customers of a logistics company want you to tell them, I will bring your clothes by 7 a.m. They want you to be in front of their house by 6:45 a.m. They're 2 different models. If you give 5 million naira grant to the owner of a laundry outfit, what will he use the money for? To buy new washing machines, to buy new clothes, to recruit new staff. If you give that same money, same business, and the person has an understanding that he's running a logistics company, what would you use the money for? More bikes, more delivery vans, isn't it? Same business, different understanding. So the one that we are guilty of the most is that we don't know our business friends. Even I am still battling a great deal. Okay, so your business is not what it seems it is. Let's have a volunteer and let me ask a few questions. Any volunteer that has any in the house that, or maybe online, I don't know, that has a current business. Let me just ask a few questions.
Who's volunteering?
What business do you do? Pardon? Now, so listen to our conversation. Your name? You have confused me now because you have mentioned like 5 different things. Which one should we call you? DWJ. DWG. Yeah. So DWG, what do you do?
I'm a photographer.
Why?
Because I fancy that the best things in life are captured in the moment.
Why do you fancy that the best thing in life are captured in the moment?
I love the expression people get when they see that captivating picture of themselves when you give it to them.
Why do you love the expression that people get when they see the captivating picture of themselves?
Because I have this fulfillment in me when they listen or making someone smile.
Why do you have the fulfillment when you make someone smile?
Because the very purpose of life is not for you, think with others as well.
I put it to you that you are not a photographer. I put it to you that you are not a photographer. What you do is that you just want to help people get happy. Right? The photography is just a medium by which you're doing this. If you go around thinking you are a photographer, you will get it wrong. Because a photographer does what? Take pictures and go, take picture and go, take 5 pictures and go. Right? You're doing much more than that. And this is the exercise. We don't have enough, but this is the exercise that I want each person to go and do. And maybe Philip's meeting, if there's a WhatsApp group or something, I'd like to join for a day or two. Let's dig this further. So on the face value, we assume that we're doing the businesses that we're doing. It is so wrong. If you ask yourself the 5 whys, you would have a better understanding that your business is not what it seems to be. Remember my restaurant, when I thought it was the taste of food that was the most important thing. Okay, and I kept investing in the taste of food. So you need to go back and ask yourself those 5 whys genuinely. I had the same exercise with the brand I was consulting for in Lagos, a bakery. And at the end of the day, we found out that they had baked for 10 years, but that wasn't even their core business. That was not their core competency. It wasn't because of the taste of the bread that people were buying their bread, right? It was because of the effigy around their bread. It wasn't like the bread was the best tasting, but because you had fine sales girls that used to dress well in an unusual manner. They had these flared skirts that they wore that was some funny, I don't know if it's Adire or something, and they had their brand on it. That was why people, because those girls were always looking happy. Listen, I did a survey 6 years ago, 2016, yeah. I did a survey 6 years ago, okay, and I discovered that the happiest company in Nigeria was Nigerian. I don't know if it's because of alcohol, I don't know what it is. But if you go to any Nigerian viewing establishment, from the gate, everybody is just happy. Security man is happy, receptionist is happy, sales manager is happy, and everybody is just happy. Okay, so your brand has to stand for something. I didn't say 2 things. One thing. Even if that one thing is stupidity. There are people in Abuja that love stupid brands. You just be that one brand that is not boasting about being knowledgeable. You'll be that one brand that will boast about being stupid, and you will still have your captive market. It's getting very quiet. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. DWG, I hope so. I really hope so. Okay. So our time is up there, and we have not talked about pitching. What do we do? Can we take 5 minutes to talk about pitching? I apologize. I usually. We just did with him. That's the 5 whys. I was pointing at you. I was showing you that I was asking the question. As I was asking the question, I was showing you. Okay, let's look for another business.
Excuse me. So, just our online programs. If they want to continue 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so you can also teach them, because it's important for them.
Okay.
The guys in house there, of course, those online tuition, please just hang around for the next 5-10 minutes.
Yes, for teaching. Okay, thank you. Yeah, whose business do we want to try the 5 whys of? Yes, let's go. So what do you do?
Supplies.
Hold on. She does supplies of what? How long have you done this? That's not part of the words I'm just asking.
Okay.
So she supplies agricultural products. Okay. So why do you supply agricultural products?
Well, first because it's very accessible. Something I can reach. There's a huge market for it. So that's why I supply.
Okay. So why do you supply something that has a huge market? Why are you looking at my hand? Go ahead, just speak on your heart.
Because I don't have to actually put in a lot of effort to get what I want and to get the market.
So why do you like things where you don't put in a lot of effort?
Because I spend less.
Because
I spend less.
So why do you like to spend less?
Because I like money.
So why do you like money? Final question.
Because I like the things of my life.
So friends, what she's doing is not actually sell agricultural produce. I hope so is the truth. Okay. So if you drill down, okay, to what is propelling her to do what she's doing, that's what she just said. It's money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So it's not the love for agricultural products, right? Oh, you even agree with us. So that's the beauty of the 5 whys. Okay, and we can go on and on. Like I said, I'll join your WhatsApp group and then we'll try and see if we can do a bit more. But we have things that we have not talked about. Sulu, talk to me, please, my friend Sulu.
Thank you, sir. So I was hoping that you could take me on with the 5 whys, my business. So I'm into the circular economy, recycling of waste materials.
So could you send it in the chat?
You can't hear me?
Maybe you should send it in the chat. Okay, let's make some progress and then we can talk. How many people have pitched before? How many people? You have? Okay, who did you pitch to?
Some people who were supposed to pay for the production of the film.
Did they pay?
Yes.
Oh, they did. Did you? Who did you pitch to? Okay, did he give you special advisor role?
No, it's just for that.
Did you get the grants? Good job. Okay. I'm looking for somebody who pitched and went home with the show. Okay. Go ahead. So who did you pitch?
At the British Council Fashion Tech.
Okay. Why? Do you know why?
They didn't actually say why, but from my observation, I guess the other 5 people who got the grants had better ideas than I did. It's supposed to be a fashion tech.
That's what you think.
That's what I think.
So, friends, let me. There's so much in my head. Let me just pause that. Let me just stop teaching. Okay. So let me start by telling, and I just want to build the foundation. Listen, we are human beings. The people you are preaching to are human beings. Okay. We are emotional people. Forget that your father was a soldier and was squeezing face. Somebody had his money body. Okay. So we're emotional people. You need to understand that first. So pitching is an emotional act. You're not going there to speak logic alone. But let me excite you a bit more. Customers don't buy logic. Customers buy emotions. I know you've heard this from textbooks. It is not a lie. It is true. Right? People don't buy logic. People buy emotions. Dr. Larry, what do you mean? Why are you confusing us? People buy the things they like. Right? If you want us to do this exercise tomorrow morning when you wake up, are you here tomorrow? No. Good. Good. I'm happy that they're not here. I'll give you my number. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, see a sheet of paper. Every single thing you spend money on, write it down. Call me by about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock when I hope you'll be ready to sleep. and let's review those things that you wrote down. Research tells us that 87.7% of the things you spend money on a daily basis are not logical, they are emotional. So the purchases you make are emotional. Why? You are a human being. Listen, economics that was telling us that people will always gravitate towards low cost is a lie. Hustle and bustle, and I'm using realistic examples. Hustle and bustle, do you know how much a bottle of Hennessy is sold there? Okay, let me excite you. It's sold for 80,000 naira. Opposite hustle and bustle, inside Wuse Market, same Hennessy, I speak the truth, is sold for 21,000 naira. Listen, that's not. So you go to hustle and bustle on a Friday, you know that down the road, less than 1 kilometer away, it's 21K. They bring your bill, 80K. You pay joyfully, happily, willingly. People don't buy logic. People don't buy logic. People buy emotions. They buy the things that make them happy. And you can't question it. It's my money. I can choose to do whatever I like with my money. Listen, if this bottle of water is sold in Wuse 2 for 100 naira and is sold in Nyanya for 60 naira, does it mean everybody will go to Nyanya to go and buy this water? As a matter of fact, some people will be looking for where they sell it for 120 naira. You know why? Because where they sell it for 120 naira, you see a kind of people there. People will buy, fresh people. So that's the reality. So you need to understand first that human beings are emotional beings. Okay, so your pitch should connect to your audience emotionally. It's not all about logic. It's not every time that you tell people, if you invest 1 million in my business, in the next 2 years, it will be 100 million. That's not what they want to hear all the time. So the first things about pitching is you need to understand that you need to have an emotional connection with your audience. Now let's look at the pitching process, okay? Listen, the first thing in starting a business, right, is to go and look for a problem. I know you have heard this before, but let me drive it home a bit deeper. If you have not found a problem, don't start a business. I'll repeat, if you have not found a problem, don't start a business. Let me say this with the risk of people not liking me. If you have a business that you did not start with a problem, please go and destroy it. I'll say this is the camera, right?
Yes.
Online, if you have a business that you did not start with a problem, destroy it. The difference between businesses that look for customers and businesses that customers look for is what I'm sharing with you. If you start your business with a problem, customers will look for you. Everybody that has that problem will come and look for you. If you start your business with a solution, is it okay? Yes, you will have a solution, but every day of your life, you will keep looking for. Do you understand? You will have that solution and you will be looking for people with the problem that your solution can address. Okay, at this point, it is getting very quiet and I'm worried. Go ahead, tell me about the conflict.
Yeah, talking about problem at the same time, you don't have a problem, because at the same time, you're working on a solution. So what do you?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That listen, most of us started our businesses with a solution. When people start businesses with solution, you hear things like, so yesterday night when I slept, I just had an idea. Ideas don't make you money. I'm sure you haven't heard that before too. Ideas don't make you money. There's actually a book written that says ideas make you money. That's a lie from the pit of hell. It's not ideas that make you money. What makes you money is the identification of a problem. If you've identified a problem, you have hammered. You don't even have to be the one to bring the solution. A 17-year-old boy in one tech hub in Metama or Usetu or Asokoro would find a tech solution for you. The hammering is not in the solution. The hammering is in the identification of the problem, friends. It doesn't sound very nice. I speak the truth under God. The hammering is in the identification of the problem. If you don't find a problem, don't start your business yet. Don't start a chicken and chips outlet because somebody down the road is doing chicken and chips. Pardon? Me too. Don't do it. Yes, please.
What problem were you trying to solve before the restaurant?
I told you that I have made mistakes in the past. I told you. No, but I shared it with you. I told you. I just felt like selling food. And that's why I started a restaurant. And I can't even cook noodles. And that's why I started. But much later, for a while, we actually crushed it. And then we started to look for a problem. Okay, and that's why we said we're not even going to sell every kind of food. Okay, and I don't have time. I've shared how we now started, how we turned it around. No, it's not important. Listen, I produce water and I sell water. I have license for this bottled water, PET bottled water. I have license for pure water, but I produce only dispenser water and I've done it for the past 6 years. And as tempting as producing these things, I'm not doing it because there was a problem we wanted to solve. Right now, I know that I produce water every day, but I'm not selling water. I'm selling convenience. If I think I'm selling water, I would have gone into PET bottled water. But I'm selling convenience because the most difficult thing to buy in a supermarket is dispenser water. How do you carry it out to the boot of your car? So don't let me tell you about the things that I do. So let's not use my example, but it's the most difficult part of the business because it's easier. Most people want to feel like these kids when they wake up in the morning and say, Dr. Larry, I had this idea. Once you want to pitch and you start off with, I had this idea. For me, you have lost me. I can never invest in your business because what that tells me is that you did not start with the problem. But if you tell me the problem first, I'll cross my leg and listen to you. Okay, so is this a real problem? How many people have this problem? Before we now get to the solution. So moving very quickly because I need to round up in 5 minutes now. So the first step is the problem, and I took a lot of time to explain to you that you need to go and look for problems. I'm not telling you to go and look for rocket science problems. I'm not telling you to go and look for solar system problems. There are real problems. The easiest way to look for a problem is to find out the one that you are currently facing. You know why? You know what's called a business plan. And as consultants, we like to write business plan for you and collect your 500K. Business plan is just sheets of paper telling you how the customer will behave and spend money on your business. That's it. So if the person that is the customer is someone like you, is it not easier to be able to predict how the person will behave? The businesses that I do, all of the 4 businesses that I do, the customer of the 4 businesses that I do is someone my age, is someone in my socioeconomic status. Okay, is someone in my behavioral pattern. You know why? It's easy for me to predict. This one. If I bring out this product, they go chop her. Because me too, I go chop her. Do you understand? People my age, what is the most important thing to us? Family, our health, association. You understand? So every time that I'm trying to do anything in my business, I have it at the back of my mind that, Larry, how would you react to this thing? So it's easier for you if the people in your business are people like you. I won't do business for 80-year-olds. I'm not 80. I don't even know how 80-year-olds behave. I won't set up a crèche. My son is 20 years old. It was a long time ago that they were small. I don't know how the parents of babies behave these days. I don't know what makes their decision. But would I set up a business for somebody between 40 and 50? Absolutely. Because I, to a large extent, understand how they behave and the things they love to spend money on. It's getting very boring. Let me move very fast. So one is the identification of the problem, and I have spent a lot of time to tell you that if you have not identified a problem, friends, don't start a business. If you start a business, your business will survive. For every day you carry your solution and you'll be looking for problem. Okay, and that means every day you will struggle to look for customers. But if you start your business from a problem perspective, one, the people you're pitching to will listen to you. Okay, and then everybody that has that problem will come to you. Okay, one of my clients in this town has a business that the customers are worrying him. I don't know if you understand what I mean. There are businesses in this town, okay, that customers are looking for. In this town, there are businesses that customers are looking for. So identify a problem. The second one is develop a solution. I'm not interested in that one because
someone is asking online, sir.
Yes.
So does it mean that after finding the problem, then find the best unique and convenient way of solving the problem?
Yeah, that's where we are getting. That's the next thing that I'm talking about. Okay. And what I will add is it doesn't even have to be you to develop the solution. The solution is the easiest part. Like I said, one 17-year-old boy will get a technology-based solution for you. Okay. So the cocoa is not the solution. The cocoa is the problem. Right? And there are little problems. I'm happy to tell you that 2 years ago, I went to, what's the name of that school? There's a university in Oyo State. It's not, is it Bowen? Where's Bowen? It's in Oyo State. Good. I went to Bowen, and I went to speak at the invitation of the Vice Chancellor, and I went to speak to graduating students about entrepreneurship. Yeah, it was Bowen. It was Bowen. One village like this. I went to speak to graduating students about entrepreneurship, and I spent 2 days in Bowen, and I found out that every time you do go to Bowen, I found out that in Bowen there was a large expanse of land. They have these cabs within the school, and it was 50 naira to go from place to place, very cheap. But I found out that for every 200 naira I paid, there was never change. So my own trips were costing me because I had a bundle of 200 naira freshness. I love to move around with freshness. It's funky, it's fresh. So for every 200 naira that I paid, not one cabman gave me change. So for me, that was a real problem. Whether it was fake or whether it was, they sized me up, because I didn't want to believe that every student was, or maybe the student had their own 50 naira. Why would I have to buy change? I'm a Lagos boy. But they never had, so for me, it was a problem. So when I got to the person that was moderating the session, there were a guy and a lady, and I just told them that this is a genuine problem that we're having right now. That every time I give this guy that doesn't, they said they always look for change to give them. And I saw it as a huge problem. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 years later, those guys have developed a company, right? And I don't know, they were trying to explain it to me. Something like an e-wallet or something, and it's USSD based. You don't need the internet, okay? But right now, everybody is collecting change. A real problem. They didn't develop the solution. Some guys in CC Hub in Lagos developed that solution for them. But right now in Bowen, everybody is collecting change. So look out for real problems. Don't look out for problems look out for problems in your environment, problems that you face yourself. I know it would amaze you how many problems you go through. Somebody wanted to collect money on a Sunday from the bank. That's how ATMs came up. Exactly. So there are genuine problems anyway. So the solution, I won't even talk about that. If you like, find solution. If you like, go find, that's your problem. You can get one small ball. So the third thing that I want to talk to you about is the size of the market. If the problem you have found, if you don't have enough people in Abuja or environs having that problem, you die broke. Don't come and say, Dr. Larry said you should find the problem and you hammer. If the size of the market is not large enough, you die broke, man. The only time you are permitted that the size of the market should not be large enough is if these 5 people are your only customers. Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Otumba Dr. Mike Adenuga, Otedola with the money. Who else again? Dan Tata and Dr. Larry Phillips. Right? For if those 5 are not your core customers, please ensure that the market is large enough. When I say the market is large enough, I'm not only talking about the size in terms of numbers. I'm also talking about the size in terms of behavior. ensure that you are appealing to a growing market. Okay, if the market that you are appealing to are from 65 and above, I'm sure you know what will happen. Exactly. So ensure that you are appealing to a growing market. The first thing is that you need to keep when you want to pitch, you need to keep your financials intact. Show people, especially people that want to invest in your business for returns. Show them very clearly where the money is. Although if you invest 1 million naira, this is what I'm going to use it for, and this is what it will translate to. Be very, very clear and simple about it. Don't go and bring the YDX and all those. Make it very, very clear. The final thing is the team. Okay? If you say, I am founder, co-founder, CEO, COO, uncle, people love, and people want to take risks, or they want to take calculated risks. So if you are the founder and you have a co-founder, or you have at least 2 or 3 members of your team, people will feel better about your organization than for you to say, I am chief executive officer, importer, exporter, cocoa water, only you, everything. Okay, so it's nice to have a team. And what is nice about the team is that you must complement each other. So you might be the chief executive officer or the founder, and you might not even know much about technology. Okay, find somebody in your team who you will call. You can give anybody any post. Call him chief technical officer. Let him be the one that understands the technology and be able to explain it. You are the face of the company. You are the fine boy. You are the one that likes to wear suit. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing anything or a lot about your technology. But find a CTO that will speak about that aspect of your business. You can find a CFO also that will speak about the finance. Okay, so the 5 things we talked about pitching, I repeat again, go and look for problems. If you found problems and you don't have money for solution, come and talk to me. Okay, I'm an angel investor, Filipinos, come and talk to me if you found the problem. We'll see if it's a problem that makes sense and has enough market size, or it's going to be loved by a little community and the like. The second one is solution. I don't care about the solution. Any idiot to find a technology solution for. The third one I mentioned is the size of the market. Remember, it has to be large enough, and it also has to behave in a growing manner. The fourth one I mentioned is, where is my money? Okay, show the people you are pitching to exactly how their money will come back. And the fifth one, like I said, is that it's important that you have a team. A team of 2 or 3 people looks better than an individual. At this point in time, I want to thank you very, very much for squeezing out an extra 40 minutes. An extra 40 minutes. And I hope that you have as much.
Are you going to do questions? Are you running, sir?
You know I will run. You know I will run, sir.
So let's please just say that's fine. Sorry, online guys. Larry is going to, we've already put him on the WhatsApp group. So if you have your questions, just put them there and he'll respond. Online, please don't go yet. We have a prize for you guys as well. We announced it. Please just hold on for like a minute or two.
That's why we're like,
that way the money.
That's where
the money is.
Follow the one.
We've thrown away our British Council paper.
Please don't.
Somewhere, I think you should be.
We just discovered he's not a photographer.